Hello! So I wanted to mix things up this week and do something that was a little fun, but if I'm being really honest, I just didn't really know what to film, so this was like the easy way out. So because I get so many questions on Instagram, I decided to do a Instagram Q&A. I asked you to give me some questions, you delivered with some juicy questions, and so today I'm gonna answer them. I mean, you know how a Q&A works, this is not that difficult. So let's jump right into it. So before we get started, I feel like I need to give you a disclaimer. I have such bad allergies right now. I feel so sniffly and icky, it's ridiculous. So we're just gonna ignore that and pretend like everything's fine. Let's get into some juicy questions. Oh, and before I get started, thank you to everyone who did submit a question. I really appreciate that. So question number 1, what are or were your favorite ballets? I feel like I wanna break this down into 2 parts, being like, ones that I've danced and ones that I've watched and that I enjoy watching. Cause like the reality is when you dance something, it has a special place in your heart. You know what I'm saying? If you're a dancer, you get it. So favorite ballets that I've danced, definitely Serenade, Waltz Girl and Serenade was so amazing. I loved that role. Obviously doing Balanchine's Sugar Plum Fairy was a dream and I loved that. Pas de deux is just beautiful. Another ballet that I really loved to dance was Slaughter on 10th Avenue. Oh, that was so fun. I danced that with Miami City Ballet. I think I was in like 3rd cast as an apprentice, but either way, it was so much fun to dance. Definitely my vibe. There are certainly more, but those are 3 that came to mind. As for which ballets I like to watch, I'm a big Balanchine ballet girl. I don't love classical ballet. I'm gonna be honest with you. And I think it's just because it's so long and drawn out and like boring to me that I just like the fun Balanchine stuff, like quick and fast and I don't know. Sorry, I know I'm a basic Balanchine girl. So probably my favorite Balanchine ballets. I mean, obviously Serenade, like I said, I danced in it. It has a special place in my heart. Besides that, I love Who Cares? Stars and Stripes is a big one. So fun, so upbeat. Jules. I love Jules. That is a beautiful ballet. And that one's not like a short one. That's a full length. Beautiful, beautiful ballet. That one definitely has a special place in my heart. I remember watching that at the David Koch Theater. Like, I remember that. You know when I saw Jules, now that I think about it? I saw it at like I'm not even gonna pretend that I know which anniversary it was, but it was the anniversary of Jules. And it was the Bolshoi doing diamonds, New York City Ballet doing rubies, and maybe Paris Opera? I think it was Paris Opera doing emeralds, and oh my gosh, that was a beautiful performance. Seriously, like once in a lifetime kind of stuff. I mean, I love that ballet. Next question. Are you still flexible? I laughed when I saw this question. Yes. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna say. To the average person, yes. Like if you compare myself to the average human being, yes. But if you compare myself to me 3 years ago, no. And you know what? Like that's okay. I don't dance anymore. I don't need to be super flexible. That is not a quality that I require. I definitely want to make it a goal to get back into more stretching and like yoga. I would love to get into yoga. I'm gonna do that. Keep me accountable on that. But yeah, I would say like yes, but no. Yes compared to the average person, no compared to me as a dancer. It's actually funny because I just tested out my flexibility today for a new video. So I definitely have this at the top of my mind, which is just hilarious. Was it difficult to find a new routine after quitting ballet? Do you ever miss dancing? So I'm not sure if I know exactly what you mean by routine. I'm gonna assume that you're referring to like a new passion or a new career, something along those lines. For me, it wasn't super difficult, and it's because I went full force into something that I already felt like I knew how to do and I was good at and I liked as well. I talk a lot about that in one of my videos. I think it's called like, I don't remember what it's called. I think it's called Life After Ballet or something. I'll leave it in the description so that you can watch it. But I talk about my transition from quitting ballet into becoming a social media manager and like what I do today. I also talked about like how I stay connected to the arts world. So I'm not gonna get too deep into it just because I do have that other video, but personally for me, it wasn't difficult. I embraced the time and literally just took the time to try new things and figure out something else that I liked, and I feel really grateful that it worked out for me. As for the second part of this question, do you miss dancing? Yeah, I mean, sometimes. Overall, I would say no. Like most days, I don't think about it anymore. It has been over 2 years now since I've left ballet, so I really don't think about it much. And I do stay connected to the dance world in many ways, such as these dang videos that, that people always want me to make. I'm also a social media manager for my old ballet school, so there are ways that I stay connected. I don't particularly miss dancing. Sometimes I do dance. I take cool classes sometimes, but overall I'd say no, I've pretty much moved on, and I love what I do now. So that's like a huge part of it. I love being a social media manager. It like is so amazing. I mean, yeah, of course I miss it every once in a while. I miss dancing, but not like the majority of the time. You know what I'm saying? I give myself time to heal. Speaking of me as a social media manager, do you feel you have imposter syndrome in your new role as a social media manager? This question, this is a tricky one. So, no, for the most part. You know, it's definitely weird because I lived a lot of my life as a ballet dancer, so that was a huge part of my identity, and nowadays it's not really my identity anymore, although now it kind of is, because I have this channel that blew up, I have my Instagram, so I don't know what I am anymore, but either way, I don't necessarily feel imposter syndrome with social media management. I do definitely feel my own insecurities just in general with business stuff, like, you know, comparing myself to other business owners, where I'm at versus them, like, and that's just natural, like, human behavior, I guess. But in terms of imposter syndrome, I don't know. I love what I do. I have the confidence to believe that I'm good at what I do, and so I wouldn't say that I have imposter syndrome. Now, what I do have imposter syndrome on is creating these dang videos. Sometimes it's a little much for me. Like, I always feel like people judge me for talking about ballet still because I don't dance anymore, but I've just been coming to terms over time with the fact that, like, I really shouldn't care what people think about me and just kind of do what makes me happy. And clearly my videos are helping people. I get messages all the time. So, you know, I just let that keep me going. So, yeah. This one made me chuckle. What's your favorite color? I love it. It's a little break from the serious stuff. I would say my favorite color is purple, but like not really. The reason why I say that is because when I was a kid, all I would say was purple, purple, purple. I wanted purple everything, to the point where my mom actually got me a box of 50 purple crayons for one of my birthdays. I always like to tell that story because I just think it's so hilarious. Like, I didn't even know they had that, but apparently they do. It was like the only thing I ever wanted. I wanted purple everything. So I say that's my favorite color, but in reality, it's probably pink. I have most of my stuff is just pink. My decor around my apartment, a lot of it is like, I'll put a picture of the color up on the screen, but it's kind of like my branding color for my other account, my business branding color. It's like I don't even know what the damn color is called. I really don't, so I'm just gonna put it on the screen. I also really like yellow. Whenever I get flowers, I always get yellow flowers. I feel like they just really brighten up a room, makes me happy. I don't know, something about that color. I know that there's color psychology in there because yellow is a color that's like associated with excitement and energy. So I like yellow. Anyways, let's move on. Next question is, why did you leave ballet? This is a loaded question. I definitely cannot answer this in one video. I do have another video where I talked about my journey as a professional ballet dancer. It's mainly about like the companies that I worked with, the schools that I went to, like my full-on journey as like a dancer. But I do talk about like struggles that I went through and like why I ended up leaving. I haven't made a full video of like why I quit ballet, so I definitely need to do that, but yeah, this is a little too loaded of a question for me to answer in this video. To give you the shortened answer, it's a very hard career, mentally and physically. I got injured a lot. Like, I had stress fractures on both my feet multiple times. I never really got the proper like time to heal these fractures, so they would always come back, and that was really just annoying. I definitely was struggling with my mental health. I wasn't taking care of myself, so all these things started to kind of pile up, and eventually I started to dabble into the business world and actually joined like a network marketing company selling hair care. And so once I got into that world, I was like, okay, I can enjoy things besides ballet. And I really started to like dive into that and other things that I could potentially try. And that's what made me really feel confident that like I could quit. And so I allowed myself to. I made the decision myself. And so yeah, that's pretty much why I quit. Again, I can make a whole video on that, and I definitely should because people ask me this all the time, which like, I understand why you ask, but also it's a personal question. So I'm kidding. I talk about everything. So I'll make it one day, promise. Next question. This is actually gonna be the last question, and then I'll save all the other ones for another video. But the question is, what was the hardest thing in the dance world for you? I think this really relates to the last question that I just answered. I would say the hardest thing was my relationship with myself and figuring that out along the way. Dealing with things like mental health issues and food-related issues, body image issues, all these things that I dealt with. I just feel like it was obviously really difficult, and I know that's difficult for a lot of dancers. It's not just me. It's just like the standard that not even gets put on you by teachers, directors, whatever, but more of like the standard that you hold yourself to. Because the reality is, like, we're all trying to strive for this perfection that just doesn't exist. And that is really, really hard. So if I had to say anything, it would probably be that. And also just the fact that I was constantly surrounded with pretty much only other dancers. Like, I really didn't have any other people in my life that weren't dancers, because, like, you know, I was living in dorms, going to summer programs, like all my friends were dancers, majority of them. And so that was really difficult because I feel like I wasn't exposed to different things, and I really thought that dance was the only way that I could go in life. Turns out it's not. Turns out I'd find a career that I absolutely love. But yeah, I would probably say that's the hardest thing. Well, and also injuries. I mean, injuries suck. Injuries are always hard for everyone. But overall, I'd say it was probably the biggest thing was my relationship with myself and figuring this out and navigating it and asking for help. All those things were definitely difficult. So with all that being said, I am done for the day. Those are my questions. I will do this again if you enjoy it. So let me know in the comments because I would love to hear from you. And give me a thumbs up on this one. It really, really helps my channel a lot. It helps me to also know like what you want to see. I never know what kind of videos to create, especially since I don't dance anymore. Like, I feel so uncomfortable sometimes like making videos like this. And so that's where the imposter syndrome comes in again. Remember we talked about this? And so with that being said, like, if you give the video a thumbs up, it lets me know that you enjoy this and that you watched it, and just really helps me out. So I'd appreciate it. Thank you. Anyways, I'm gonna get going because it's getting late and I have stuff to do. But thank you again for watching the video. Thank you for subscribing. If you didn't already, please hit that subscribe button. I would really, really appreciate it. I will have the 2 videos that I mentioned in this video. So I think it was the life after ballet video and my story as a professional dancer. I will have those 2 videos linked below, and I hope to see you in another video. Bye-bye. Have a good day.